Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is James in Nashville, and this will be a review kind of sorts of the first couple of episodes of World Beyond and what we know. Kind of an overview, an overlook into the series World Beyond and see what we know, what we've learned with the CRM, and it was a bunch since episode 2 of World Beyond season 2. We have Hope, who's been successfully taken across the country, helped by Huck, an undercover agent, Lieutenant Kublek's daughter, and Hope is taken to the research facility in New York. And the goal there is that they've heard that she's smart like her father. Her father is there researching and has come up with several big breakthroughs. And so they're really looking at the daughter, Hope, to be smart as well, to carry on the research. So here's a quick breakdown of what we've learned, what we know now since episode 2. So we have the research facility in New York that Hope's taken to. That's where her dad is. That's where Dr. Belshaw, her dad's girlfriend, another scientist at the facility, is doing the experiments on the A's, at least we know of. And one of them is one of the scientists from Portland. So that stems to the theory that Portland may be destroyed as well as Omaha and Campus Colony. We see that there's other kids and other scientists there as well doing different things, different studies on different things, all in the name of the future of humanity. Hope's dad, though, is starting to ask questions and stuff, especially since he knows his other daughter is out there. He knows Campus Colony was destroyed. He knows Felix is out there. Will's supposed to be out there somewhere, but they faked Will's death, so we'll see how that plays out. But it seems like there's not as many protective barriers as one might think. Hope even says at one point she thought there'd be more guards and guard dogs and cameras. And we have a place that they call the perimeter. And that's where Will was hiding out, and now Felix and Iris are hiding out. This is a place that has a pact with CRM to kind of keep walkers away from the facility and stuff like that. This lady, Indira, leads this artistic type community, hippie, you could almost say hippie-like community, that just wants to be left alone, do their own thing, and they kind of help out the CRM. The CRM leaves them alone. I've been asked about a theory about Michonne somehow tied to this place or something, and I'm going to go over some theories and some stuff like that, a bunch of that stuff, questions at the end of the video. So then we have a really big reveal, some pretty big news as far as the universe and what they're doing right now, and that's where Silas went. If you remember, Huck mentioned to her mom, hey, can I recommend something you can do with Silas so he can be useful, he's not a threat? So Silas was given to Dennis, and Dennis, very interesting character. Dennis takes Silas to this place, and it's the place that we saw in some promos that had lights and music and walkers blowing up. Well, that's what this facility is. It attracts walkers in, blows them up, and then this crew that now Silas is a part of goes out there and cleans up the mess. And then a little later on, they do it again, attract more walkers, and that gets rid of the walkers, just keeps getting rid of the walkers in the area. This seems to be, Dennis said, the first of its kind, the first facility. He said there's several more across the state in stadiums and arenas and different places that's doing the same thing, larger and even better operated by trained military personnel. And then he said if the modeling's correct with other measures to keep walkers out of the state, all the walkers in the state will be cleaned up and they can start over. It's a training ground, it's a testing ground, and it's as big as an entire state to try to start things over. Industry, commerce, all that stuff. So the crew there with Silas asked why he may be interested when he was asking about the research facility where Dennis was going. Does he have a lady friend there like Dennis does? And it's revealed that Dennis was in a relationship with Huck. And when Huck mentioned, hey, I know where Silas can go, she actually knew Dennis personally. She was in a relationship before. So there's tension there, some kind of separation there. We don't know that full story at all. But Dennis seems like a cool character. So we're starting to see this bigger world and citizen type people from CR and other soldiers and people like Dennis, who's a mechanic that's running one of these culling facilities. That's a part of this bigger picture. Really interesting. So one thing that happened at the culling facility is that they had one of the walkers that had one of those transmitters that was wired into its brainstem. They had caught one of them. I'm sure they were told, hey, if you see one of these, don't blow them up and throw them away. We need this. So they had it quarantined off. And that's the walker that Dennis was going to take back to the research facility. So now taking a closer look at Dr. Bennett's video that Dr. Belshaw showed to Hope.
Last spring, we took the viral recorder we've been developing and fused it to the brainstem of a dead one.
So Hope's dad figured out what the other scientists couldn't and made this transmitter thing work and hook up to the brainstem of a walker, however that works. You know, it's a zombie fantasy show. But with these devices, they're able to record and transmit information, biological responses to environmental stimuli, and it provides tracking data for predicting behavior. It lets them know how the walkers act in different weather. But then we go a little step farther, and some of the research that Dr. Bennett's working on is infecting the dead with strains of fungi that feed on necrotic flesh, modifying existing fungi that accelerates the dead's rate of decay. So that's pretty interesting. And he said that that was just one example of a lot of different projects or ideas that he has that they can work on. So now I'll go over some quick questions that you guys have had and that are just floating out there that we don't know yet because the story hasn't revealed it. Some of you have asked me about Michonne, a theory that Michonne ended up at the perimeter, and you know, who knows, there's no evidence of that. If it's a theory, then that's all it is, a theory, and really a thrown out there theory. Personally, I wouldn't have put that together as far as that's what's happened or that's where she ended up. It's my belief there's a path Michonne's on, and it's not the perimeter. So then we have Jadis. Jadis hasn't been introduced yet in an episode. We've only up to episode 2 as the making of this video. It makes me wonder if Jadis is just going to play a tiny little part in one episode or something, or is her story a bigger story arc? And even though we think she's going to be on the good guy side, how well does she play that, and what does she have to do to cover her tracks as far as to let CRM know, hey, I'm still on your side? So does she have to do a bunch of bad things? What does she know about Rick? What does it tell us? We just don't know yet. Dr. Belshaw was asking Lieutenant Colonel Kublik about when will she get another test subject. And she said something about Major General Bill's plan going forward, still going. So maybe we'll get to meet this Major General soon and understand more fully what his plan is, his big plan is overall. And then back to Dennis and Silas, where Silas was taken and stuff, the culling facilities. That's very interesting right there, and there's several across the state. And Silas asked at one point to Dennis, were they still in New York? And he didn't answer. So is this New Jersey? Is this New York? Silas saw a helicopter flying by pretty close, so I would say the research facility could be pretty close. The way they were talking, it seemed like it's pretty close. And at the point on the map where it seemed like the research facility may be, I'm thinking maybe it is New York. They're trying to clear New York State. And of course, the big mystery of the series overall is, why are these colonies being destroyed? Why are all these people being killed by herds of walkers? Is it one big experiment? We heard the Lieutenant Colonel, I think, lying about the big herd, the big hordes, the massive hordes that she was talking about that ran through Omaha and couldn't be helped. But we saw the helicopters leading them there. We saw them blow up the walls to let the walkers in. We saw the same thing happen at Campus Colony. Probably the same thing happened at Portland, so that's the big mystery. Why is it happening? Kublik also said it's happening all over the world. So is there any truth? If there's no truth really in what she's saying about Omaha and Campus Colony, is there any truth in what she's saying about the rest of the world? A lot of details there that we're just not sure what they mean and how much they do mean. But you guys let me know what you think it means down in the comments below. Any questions, theories, ideas, or anything like that? Let me know down in the comments below, and you know I'll join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.